one of the worst belief systems that you can develop is the ideology that you don't have any more improvement to do. When you attain this belief system, you actually start aging drastically or rapidly, because the mind doesn't believe that it has anywhere else to go. When you don't think that you have to improve. Ladies and gentlemen, we are constantly supposed to question what we're doing so that we can develop better patterns, so that we can potentially live longer. It's rooted into our genetics. To constantly take our experiences, to constantly observe our environment, so that we can create new patterns that can potentially allow us to live longer, because that is the basic blueprint within, ladies and gentlemen, our genetics, is to survive, is to defy death for as long as possible. But most people don't know this. Most people think that life is about living the simple things. It's the simple things that make me happy. It's the little things in life. Oh. And this very simple, predetermined, premeditated model of life that the Matrix pumps into you, where you're hooked up to this Matrix grid. You're fed on by something known as non-organic beings, such as the Archon, which I've talked about in many videos. I'm not going to get into it in this video. And you develop this huge narcissistic ego complex where you basically think you're the shit. You go through life, you just go through the motions. You go through the motions. You think that maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get to 80 or 90 or maybe even 100. And life's just about my own personal fulfillment and all this other nonsense. Ladies and gentlemen, deep within your genetic memory, there is almost a vampiric trait where because the vampire is a death defier. I use that as an archetype. There's a vampiric trait deep within your genetics that you've basically put a pillow over and smothered, that wants you to survive for as long as possible. It wants you to make only the best decisions possible to ensure that you live a long, prosperous life, because that's how we evolve, ladies and gentlemen, through life, not death. I'm not saying that death is necessarily a bad thing, because death is in no way, shape, or form the end. But we don't know that, and our definitions of death really affect our lives subconsciously, and that's a whole different video, subject for a different video. I'm not going to get into that, but we need to change our definitions of death, how we view death, and we also need to learn to, at least in my opinion, I view the meaning of life is life to live, not to die, and I want to live as long as possible. I want to defy death. I want to unsuppress that vampiric trait within my genes. And I call it a vampiric trait because we are all vampires, ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to believe it or not. We are constantly taking energy from other sources and using it to sustain our lives, whether it be food, whether it be breath, whether it be water. Doesn't matter. We are vampiric in many ways, shape, or form. In many ways, shapes and forms, damn it. But there's a part of our genetic code, there's a part of who we are that we've suppressed, though, which is something that I should probably make a separate video about, but it's a part of us that wants to defy death. It's a part of us that wants to live and thrive. And I'm not exactly sure how to put it into words right now, folks. But we've suppressed this particular part of who we are, to the point where we don't really even realize that food is energy anymore, and that we're supposed to use the energy in food to sustain our lives so that we can fuel our metabolic processes, so that we can hopefully find genetic and mental homeostasis and reach a state of pretty much immortality, because that's what we were designed to be. We've suppressed these parts of ourselves, and we don't even know that food is energy anymore. The average American idiot worldwide, and idiocy is indeed a disease, ladies and gentlemen, and most people have been infected in many ways, shapes, and forms. I'm still getting rid of my fucking programming as well. No, none of us are currently in that perfected state, because none of us are currently enlightened, and until we reach enlightenment, how can we call ourselves perfect? Because we're not balanced. We have all these layers to balance again, or rebalance, excuse me. But the average idiot views food as recreation. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't enjoy food, because let me tell you, food is delicious. There's a reason why food tastes good. It's a reason why we crave certain flavors. It's because through consuming, we develop energy that can help us live longer. It's part of that trait that I was talking about earlier, or just a moment ago. But the average individual views food as a pig pen experience. It's no longer this sacred exchange of energy and the honoring of that life form that died for us so that we can live on. No. Turn on the Food Network. Turn on some of these food channels. It is disgusting to see how these people look at food. The excessive eating and the massive portions. Humanity is disgusting in my opinion, and I'm tired of holding that in and not saying it. I have a very, I wouldn't call it negative, I have a very honest view of human beings, and I am not a fan. Human beings are a disgusting breed that has lost so much of its potential. We have lost so much of our potential due to our inability to question what we do or the things that we put our time into. I don't care what people think. I don't care if people think I sound rude by saying that people are disgusting. People are disgusting, and you can... I'm not even going to get into it, folks. Not even going to get it... There's so many things that I can dovetail into this lecture. There's so many things that I can start talking about and go in a completely different direction, but let's stay on point here, folks. Consumption is a form of information transference. It's an energy exchange. And when we get just the right amount of energy from the outside world, when we get just the right amount of energy through our breath, through what we consume and what we put our attention towards, we can drastically improve the health of the physical body. But when we overstep those boundaries and we consume mindlessly, especially on things that are destructive, how does that do anything for us other than choke our resource or choke us? We're metaphorically choking ourselves to death through constant consumption of the wrong things. And attention is a form of consumption too. When you fix your attention or your focus on something, ladies and gentlemen, it exhausts resources to focus on certain things. Thinking is a process that requires energy. So we eat the wrong things, we focus on the wrong things, we have all these bullshit mind control programs that are still lingering in our mental data banks that go unnoticed because we never try to calm our minds, we never try to calm our bodies with things like the minimalistic meditation and the full body relaxation, which I talked about in previous videos. All of these things go unnoticed, and we live non-authentic lives because we're living a life of like this. We have like this innocent child within us that we've suppressed and layered all this shit on top of, and it just wants out. What do I mean by that? We have an authentic self that we were designed to come here to view the world through. We have an authentic self that is completely balanced and in harmony with nature, the elements, the mind, everything is in balance, the subtle organizing energy fields that I talked about earlier. We have our perfected true self, which many people like to refer to as the higher self. But this culture and the way that we've developed ourselves from early young age, we've taken that authentic self and we've pretty much choked it to death and built a non-authentic life on top of it. And we wonder why we're sick. We wonder why things are imbalanced. Trying to see if the resolutions... I got the resolution low on this camera right now, and I can't tell if I'm recording in the right... hopefully that doesn't come out all blurry. Excuse me, folks. I've got some yerba mate here. Yerba mate is an amazing coffee alternative. In many ways, shapes, and forms, I think yerba mate is superior to coffee. You just have to be careful with it, because if you drink too much, you can get some rage. But moderate amounts of yerba mate. It looks kind of gross, but this is yerba mate with lemon juice, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very profound tonic. Very profound tonic. Yerba mate increases the focus and it increases short-term memory. It just makes things more balanced. And right now, folks, I'll take about 12 cups of water and boil it in my tea kettle, and I'll put about 3/4 of a cup of yerba mate in that water, and I'll let it sit for about 35 minutes. Then I'll strain it and drink it.
I wanted to personally thank you for watching my videos and contributing to the growth of my channel. I could not do this without you, and your interest in my content is truly what motivates me and fuels my passion for making these videos and spreading my message. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wanted to remind you that this channel is a free educational tool that is listener supported, and if you would like to donate to my channel and donate to my cause, help make my life a little bit easier and help keep the lights on around here, you can do so by checking out the links in the description box below. There's a handful of not only ways to donate to my channel, but I also have links to different websites and different videos of mine, as well as my Amazon store, where you can check out a plethora of different health-related products that I use and recommend. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your continued interest in my message, and until next time, peace be with you all.